We're about to get it in a second. Osiris Middle Maga here. Just give me a second to get the Rumble link up and we're going to get going, cracking. Ooh, this is a big one. Get in here. All right, we're good. We're ready. What's up, Saturday? Oh, it's Saturday night. It's Friday night. We're going to get into this. Ray Studio's coming in early and hot. You know it's going to be a big one when Ray comes in early and hot. $2 super chat says Stone Cold Steve Austin for Texas Senate 2024. Is that a joke or I don't even know if it's a joke or not. Is that a The Onion had a headline that actually was good today, I thought. Believe it or not. I was like, what year is this? Is it like 2001? That's the last time The Onion was funny to me. It was great back then, too. The Onion was like Babylon Bee. Maybe even better. I mean, that's how good The Onion was. But Babylon Bee right now is like Jordan in his prime. They going wild out here. And they're pro DeSantis and a little, I don't know, a little off-putting about it, just a little bit. And their humor cuts through all that noise. $2, thank you. For anyone stopping by, Toy Mafia, Metalopoly, William Heald, RWB Fact Check. Thank you for stopping by. Don't recognize that one. Does Trump actually see Israel for the oppressors they are? Thank God. We'll take a look. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're going to get into all of that. And today, let's look at the FBI board. So I'm doing this now. I'm probably going to start the lives with this. Taking a look at the board that we have here. This one, let's see here. So this one is the board that I am going to get to all of these topics, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to be talking about Babylon Bee headline. We're going to get into, we're going to start off with Nick from RBN. Again, clip I've been playing. Some clips from some MAGA adjacent people. We're going to talk about SBX or SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried a little bit. And then we're going to get into Israel and how George Bush and George Santos and MAGA are all coming together in a really nice conversion. And one person's kind of feeling left out, kind of like that meme of him standing all by himself, looking shit-faced, Zelensky. And they're moving on from that because they've got a better girl now. And that's what we're going to talk about, Donald Trump's Truth. He posted on Truth, and that's really kind of what started this whole thing off. I did not have MAGA supporting the death of innocent citizens on my 2023 bingo card. I wasn't expecting that, were you? I did have some comments in the past you might have heard on the lives where I said, I do have concerns about MAGA, just using MAGA generally speaking. Some people got a little butt hurt for me using MAGA now. And I find that funny because I generalize, I say black people, black Democrats, I say leftists, I say Democrats, I say libertarians. I never heard anybody have a problem with any of that. With this MAGA movement, and when I say the end of MAGA, that's not hyperbole. I will get there, but your populist movement must be gate-kept very closely, or you get corrupted, you get co-opted. If your movement is accepting and promoting and maybe even celebrating the death of innocent people, you're done. It's over. But it's not a black pill. I was black pilled for a second, and then somebody on Twitter replied to me, and I was like, oh, okay, I see where this is. This is actually a white pill. Really, there is no excuse to be black pilled. Any type of disappointment is an opportunity. So I had to just take a second there. This is not a negative, believe it or not. The end of MAGA. MAGA's served its purpose. I don't think that you can save this. It's possible, but it doesn't look like this is going to be saved. So I didn't have this on my bingo card. Did you? Well, there's one person who I think did, and I want to give credit to, and that's Dr. Karlin Borisenko. I need to make, or somebody needs to make, a Dr. Karlin Borisenko was right shirt. She gets a lot of things right, and she's been called this from a long time, and I kind of disagreed with her on MAGA. Particularly, I agreed with her about conservatives in general, her saying that they are authoritarian, and the way that I mean this is they appeal to authority. And I was like, yeah, I know. If MAGA can get some power, they get in DC, I know they're going to be authoritarians, but they're not going to do that before that happens. Yeah, we're late for that. We're already there. It's a roller coaster ride. This channel's been a roller coaster ride. It's not a surprise. This is kind of by design. And I don't think it's the channel like wishy-washy or anything like that. I think it's what's really happening in the world. Before we get to what's really happening in the world, I want to show this clip again. I've showed it a lot of times, and I'm going to talk about it in regards to, I had Carlos on yesterday. We're going to travel this journey of MAGA and why MAGA's in dire straits right now. Things change real quickly. And this is the clip I've been playing. And I really believe, you might think I'm crazy. I believe it's almost like I was guided by God to start watching them again. Because I started watching them. I've always liked them. Always like them. Sometimes I bring up the race stuff, and even, I like Rome, and Rome Bethea. If you don't know, he's one of the members of this group. This is a typical. They used to be called the Fred Hampton leftists, I believe. So that gives you an idea, Marxist-Leninist or Leninist-Marxist, whatever they call themselves. But you know that. No disrespect. I just don't know the terms. I'm not in that world that much, like the Black Panthers were. But he's in that group, and he even, I forgot what we were talking about. I like him a lot, but he was like, you coon or something like that, because, my position. But I still like them. I don't care about names and stuff. I want to know substance. They got much substance. And then all of a sudden, I just started watching them again. And it was the Jimmy Dore thing that came up. And so I'm watching. I got to go to work at 6. I have to get up at 6:30. I'm at 3 in the morning watching their 3-hour live. I'm like, I got to get to sleep. And I can't put the live down. That's how good it is. And this moment I clipped up from them, and it's just in my head almost every single day.
They have arguments and disagreements. I'm like, man, Pastor, we had a scuffle on Twitter. Let's come on, let's do this. Pastor, all right, let's do this. We had a conversation. It was very productive. This left where people are like hiding from each other and shit is bitch made shit. You know what I mean? People will like drop a diss track on the RBN, but people were like, why are you not debating this? You guys know what I'm talking about. Are you not debating this? You gotta drop the diss track.
You can see why I like these. So it might be hard because you're jumping in the middle of kind of a hype conversation. I don't know if the volume's loud enough, but what he's saying is like he had a back and forth with somebody, same person I did in Pasta, which Pasta's great. There was no back and forth and like beef type stuff, but we were disagreeing on China. We got together and we did a stream on China. I don't know if you remember that. And he had the same, different disagreement with Pasta. They got on a live together, no beef. They just talked it out and hashed it out. That's what he's talking about. So he's talking about they have a populist. They're in the populist left. There's a different. You have to divide them up. They're not the same as where I'm at. They're different. They're populist. They believe the power should be with the people, but they want to do something different with it. That's why we have to divide it up.
So we had a scuffle on Twitter. Let's come on, let's do this. Pastor, all right, let's do this. We had a conversation. It was very productive. This left where people are like hiding from each other and shit is bitch made shit. You know what I mean? People will like drop a diss track on the RBN, but people were like, why are you not debating this? You guys know what I'm talking about. Are you not debating this? You gotta drop the diss track.
You can see why I like these guys. You can see that's a solid take right there.
That shit is bitch made, fam. I'm not for that. So you guys saw Dr. Cornel West and Jimmy Dore got into a big argument. Like, bro, Dr. Cornel West was bringing gangster out. He was getting upset. Jimmy was getting upset. We need more of that, fam. Fuck this civility politics nonsense. And I got words. And I'm gonna tell you guys exactly how I feel on every single issue. And I don't want to spoil too much of it because we'll get to the video.
Yeah.
And we get to a lot of those disagreements because I'm one of the people that I don't like false peace. You know what I mean? Where they're saying like, well, let's not just talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about this. Let's figure this out as a movement and get it done. That is what revolutionary discipline looks like.
I want to bring that back one more time. That is a message that needs to be said to MAGA. We need to be able to have disagreement. We need to be able to have crowdsourcing of the truth. We need to be talking. We cannot be in an echo chamber. If you're in an echo chamber and you have one stance on, we're going to be talking about Israel and that, but it's anything really, but this is the big thing here. If you're in one echo chamber and everyone's saying the same thing, you've got to try to step out. It's very hard, that in my experience, digitally. And even me, I follow all these people from the libertarians, left, right, and it's still hard to get out of I can feel the digital keeping me in. I'm like, I haven't seen a lot of posts from this person in a while. What's going on? I haven't even seen a lot of Dave Smith posts. And like, what? Why is the algorithm doing that? And you've got to go get it.
Right? If people start canceling each other over this, that's not discipline.
And then he said, don't cancel each other. Listen to how good this is. He's like, there has to be healthy tension. We need to talk about it. We need to talk it out. He said, come to agreement, kind of, but that's not always going to happen. And he said, nobody needs to cancel each other over this. We're not canceling each other over this.
Bam. Anyway,
you ready to come in? Let us know if you're ready to come in.
I wouldn't say blow my opinions on the interview to when we get to them, but that's my general feel.
Yeah.
We need to, in order to have the smart left that we trying to cultivate.
In order to have the smart populist right we trying to cultivate.
In order to have the smart left that we trying to cultivate or being a really intelligent, disciplined movement, we're going to butt heads. We're going to have these clash and these debates. Lenin was a famous, notorious debate me, bro.
This is true. I never even thought of it from that standpoint because I love debates, and that is true.
What it's not talking about is the large split in the civil rights movement between the more radical wing versus the more conservative black people in the civil rights movement that was like, oh, come on, guys, calm down, calm down. Meanwhile, Malcolm X was like, fuck that. I'm tired of you motherfuckers holding us back.
I was just putting you in, my bad.
You guys know what I mean? So I'm all for it, my position. And this is why I'm glad everyone are being here because they want to have their own opinion and perspective. I'm looking forward to hearing all of them. But that's why I'm all for, fam. I'm all for discourse.
We have to have this discussion. You have to gatekeep the movement. There's nothing that the cabal wants more than to destroy the movement. And even though I said I titled this "The End of MAGA," this isn't canceling MAGA. This is the evolution. Well, I could have done the evolution, but it wouldn't be as much of a clickbait. And this is how I truly feel. I don't like doing clickbait that's off the where I feel. I do feel this is the end of MAGA, but I do think it's the start of something else, or it could be something else, something bigger, something better. And that's what we need. It's a roller coaster ride because we just got from the speaker vote. And then so earlier this year we had the speaker vote, and then we had right now the debate got him kicked up out of here. So we got Kevin McCarthy kicked right up out of here. And that was a good moment. We had Trump had the meme, the excellent meme with Trump dancing to the Bollywood or whatever the Indian dancing called. Loved that. But part of that video, we talked about that the empire was going to strike back. Didn't talk about it that much because that was just a fun time. Say this is great. We knew it was almost like you kind of hit the giant with a slingshot and you're like, oh, we got him. And you're gonna have to run and hide for a little bit because or any boss in a video game, you might come up, get a couple hits in, and well, They're going to let the big guy come, so you run and hide behind a rock or whatever the case is. That's what we knew was going to happen. That wasn't some victory of the populace left over the establishment. It was just it was like threw a pebble at him, and it hit him and hurt a little bit. So we were like, yeah, we got him. A little bit, at least. You got to celebrate something. But then you knew that something was going to come back. Is the Israeli stuff, the Hamas stuff, is that done on purpose? I don't know. It doesn't matter. The fact is, it's come in. So we don't know. You never know how they're going to strike back. How did they strike back for the midterms? Because remember, it seems like every time there's something to celebrate, just coincidence, it seems like the water gets put out on it. What was the celebration leading into the midterms? Carrie Lake, easy over Katie Hobbs. Are you serious? No brainer. What's Carrie Lake going to do as governor of Arizona? That's going to bring in a real red state. No diss to Florida, but I mean like MAGA red. The first ever MAGA red-led red state that was a former McCain state, and that was the headliner. We were looking at other people like Blake Masters and other people out there, but the headliner was Carrie Lake. So after we had the devastation, Carrie Lake was the last one, and it was like day after day, the county after county, and then it got more sad, and it got more sad. Overall, what we found out was the cabal stole money, allegedly, because he's on trial right now, stole money in a Ponzi scheme using a guy named Sam Bankman-Fried, and he took the money. They contributed to about $100 million, and then so I have a little bit from a political article here. SBF's political contributions were not limited to the $100 million infused in a midterm. That's a lot of money, all of it against the populist right. And then public records indicate that SBF contributed more than $70 million to election campaigns, highlighting the significant financial influence that he wielded in the political arena. In one instance, it disclosed that around $40 million were spent during the midterms, with allegations of illegal straw donations being made to evade contribution limits. We've talked about some of all that stuff. So you add it up, we don't know if it's anywhere from $100 million, looks like a minimum $100 million plus on top of that to 210 potentially, or even more with dark money and hidden money. They had a scheme going allegedly that we covered where they used people's name to hide the money. So they used your name, but they didn't take money from your bank account. They used the money and put it under your name so it couldn't be traced back to them. That's what Project Veritas was exposing, and we talked about that as well. So that's how they struck back. MAGA has the better ideas. MAGA has momentum. Boop, steal money, get out of here. Now we know that they're clapback or using this situation at the very least is problematic now. So now they're using the clapback of Israel. Very powerful. So if you look at MAGA, you can look at some people that might be associated as MAGA. Let's look at Dan Bongino. And whether he's MAGA or not, I'm not going to get caught up on that. People that I would align with on a lot of things, all of a sudden going real crazy like, real bloodthirsty, recklessly. Dan Bongino on X posts, "The savage doesn't give a ish about your tweets. The savage doesn't care about your Che Guevara t-shirt. The savage doesn't care that you fanboy a bunch of eunuch dip-ish who hate Jews. The savage only cares about one thing, death, yours included." And he's got many tweets like this. And Dan Bongino is in that camp where annihilate him, and if there's some collateral damage, sorry, oops. Maybe I won't even say sorry, oops. Just carpet bomb him and graze him out of there. Just one of them. There's a bunch. Kurt Schweitzer is another one. And this is where the populist left is better. It's unusual, feels weird, but you tell me. You tell me that the populist left isn't better on this one. What you're seeing is on Israel and Palestine, Hamas, the populist left is better. And I hate to say it, the people that I thought maybe were populist left or even populist left friendly or adjacent are awful. Ukraine, populist right is better, populist left is awful. You're seeing the same thing. It's the same thing as parental rights. Like I said, if a doctor and a parent and a child agree on something, whether it's the vaccine or if it's gender reassignment surgery, it ain't none of my business. One side the populist left is off on, one side the populist right is off on. And why are they off? Because they both want to be authoritarian. Pramila Jayapal says, I'm proud to be leading 55 members of the Congress in urging the protection of innocent civilian lives. It must be clear that Israel's military response should limit harm and loss of life, the millions of innocent people in Gaza who are also victims of Hamas's horrific actions. That's a soft statement. It must be clear that Israel's military response should limit harm. So she's okay with harm and loss, and her take here is just really soft. I'm to the left, if you call, this isn't even a left or right thing, but I'm to the populist side, or you could, I don't care if you say I'm to the left of her or the populist side of her on this. Should limit harm of loss. What does that mean? Was that like is that a couple thousand, or is that 10,000 or 30 or maybe 1 million? Or what does limit the harm and loss of life mean? She's like, okay, you can go ahead. Israel should go ahead, carpet bomb, and just limit it. Just kill maybe a couple children, not too many. And I'm like, wait a second. None of this makes sense. Starting with how did it happen? But let's look at the response. Kurt says, you're a piece of ish friends could surrender. So he's trying to say that Palestinians or Hamas are her friends. Isn't that a reach? Where are we getting that from? I mean, Israel should lawfully execute them. Though sadly, they probably won't. But they would at least be protecting the people of Gaza. Why do you hate the people of Gaza so much? So Kurt is saying to protect the people of Gaza by bombing the people of Gaza. And then he's telling her why you hate the people of Gaza so much. Somebody tell me what was crazy about this tweet here. Now, I don't know what we have to see if they're going to do, if they did legislation, what it looks like, what the actual bill looks like. But this statement here, I have no problem with it. I think it's actually soft. Shows you the power that the lobbyists and Israel has in our country is what we're seeing. They're powerful. The left won't even, they're afraid to rise up. No, that wasn't the only one. So you've seen all these type of tweets and actions. Let's look at the famous Maga drag queen. For whatever reason, Maga kind of cozied up to this bruh, and I have no idea why. But let's take a look at what his take is on this situation. And what I'm referring to is Mr. Santos. Mr. Santos has a take on it. He went pretty nuts. He was. I don't know if he goes by he or she. Either way, it doesn't matter. He went nuts. And this is just a short little clip of it. I don't know what was going on with him, but maybe it's because he's Jewish. He's not Jewish. He's Jewish. Remember?
And thank you for having me on the show. This is all about taking back our country. This is about fighting for what's right and to calling out what these people truly are. Don't let them fool you. These are terrorist sympathizers. If you sympathize for Palestine, you sympathize for Hamas. And if you do that, you're a terrorist sympathizer.
Oh, okay.
And thank you for having me on the show.
Is that the case? Oh, so if I say that little children shouldn't be bombed, now I'm Hamas? A representative in my own country saying this. One, believe it or not, he is cozied up with MAGA, which I've expressed problems with from long ago. So this type of stuff for him is no surprise. I am surprised from Matt a little bit, not a lot. I mean, this Israel Jewish lobby, and they're no joke, man. Nobody wants problems with them. Matt Gaetz, is Matt Gaetz MAGA enough for you? Matt Gaetz says Hamas has no positive vision for anything. Okay, water is wet. What the hell is that? What does that mean? What's the point of that statement? They are purveyors of ruin and evil. Okay, no shit, Matt. Thanks for that. What are we doing? Great. That's the MAGA take. Hamas is bad. Like, no, show's over, everybody. Hamas is bad. And then what he wanted to do was really say this last line. That's what he really wanted here. The other two stuff is just throwaway garbage. This last line is the important line. This innocuous, this vague phrase that a lot of people are using and just copying and pasting. Israel has a right to defend itself. That's a statement that has no meaning. And I don't even know, what does it mean? Israel has a right to defend itself. Okay, well, who said they didn't? Number one. That is a political way of saying MAGA supports Israel carpet bombing innocent citizens. So we go back to my original statement. I did not have MAGA supporting the death of innocent citizens on my 2023 bingo card, but here we are. And if it doesn't mean that, I would say clear it up, but you don't have to clear anything up. I think I know what it means. You just don't have the courage to say it. Israel has a right to defend itself. Who said that they didn't? What does that really mean? Oh, and then let's get to Pappy. So Pappy went on Truth. And that's his site. He can do his site. But he went on Truth and he had a very short truth. Very short truth. And his truth was hashtag I stand with Israel. That's interesting. I never saw him tweet or truth out I stand with Ukraine. What's the difference? Obviously, that's not something I would be hoping for, but I still want the clarification. That's all he tweeted. It sounds like his tweet looks like a hostage victim type tweet. Like, did you do that under duress? Was that you? That's the tweet. He tweeted 2 hashtags. If somebody looks at him wrong, well, not anybody. He won't say anything about Fauci. If Ron DeSantis looks at him wrong, he'll do an all caps 500-word truth about pedophilia, about Ron DeSantis unliving people because of his pandemic handling. He'll just go straight to the wall to the most crazy, outrageous stuff. And we all be like, that's Grandpappy. Don't worry about it. He's good. And on this, he does 2 hashtags. A hashtag I stand with Israel. What does that mean? Can you explain to me what that means? I stand with Israel. He says, I stand with Bibi. I don't call him Bibi. I don't know that nigga like that. I call him Netanyahu. Don't let me find that clip of Ye on with Alex Jones. I will bring that as a drop. Remember the Ye clip from Alex Jones. The epic, man, that was a crazy day. So Donald Trump now says, I stand with Israel. Wonderful. Are you going to update your profile picture, Grandpappy? Are you going to wear blue and white? You going to go with the all white with the blue tie, Paps? Are you going to start tripping upstairs like Joe Biden just to show that you're aligned with the uniparty on this one? You know, it's funny because they don't stand with you. That's really awkward, Donald Trump. That's really awkward because they don't stand with you. In fact, they are part of the movement to get you to run you up out of office. Is that how powerful they are? That they can bring you to your knees. They could be a part of, I don't know if I have a direct, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're a part of him getting arrested 4 times. They for sure are part of him not being a part of office. We've seen Jonathan Greenblatt running around. And, you know, he's like, I know all these people in Israel. My family's in Israel. Like, he's basically saying, like, I'm a proxy for Israel. He said, well, Donald Trump, one of the best, and paraphrasing, one of the best presidents of all time for Jewish people. But then he went with the Charlottesville lie. Then he went with the J6 lies. And Donald Trump, just recently, he had a little bit of courage. Nick Fuentes was talking about it. I was surprised that Trump did this. He had a little bit of courage, but look, he flipped. This was before he did the truth. He did the truth today. This was from yesterday where young Nick Fuentes was like, I told you that Grandpappy wasn't afraid.
Your insult. And I remember at that time thinking, this will alienate Netanyahu from Trump because Trump is an ego guy. And I love that about him. That's why we like him. That's one of the qualities that you need in a time like this as a political leader. And I knew that Trump would never, ever forget that, and it would create enmity between the two of them. I knew it. And I said that. And there have been rumors about this for years, that Trump hates Netanyahu because of this, like that report said from Axios years ago. He said, fuck him because of that. And now Donald Trump congratulated Netanyahu when he became the prime minister again last year. But now that Netanyahu is on his way out, clearly, now that Netanyahu is wildly unpopular, and again, the opinion polling says that the people blame him for the crisis. Half of them want him to resign immediately.
See, that was my take. I never backed out, even though it looked like it was shaky for a little bit. My take was that Benjamin Netanyahu got set up. And the carpet bombing is, when I mean set up, is his intelligence people did not give him the right intelligence advice that allowed people with barefoot people to paratroop in and to commit a tragedy, massacre, unspeakable horrors. That's why you need to figure out what happened. How did this happen? You have information. You need to give that to the public before, at least I need that before I support any type of, hypothetically for my country, any type of retaliation. Are you crazy? I don't know who was in on what and what happened here. You might not be the right one to lead the response. And Nick Fuentes, I don't know where his sources are. I haven't seen that. He's saying that the opinion polling is backing at least my take on it, that people aren't happy with him. They shouldn't be happy with him.
Who was wildly unpopular. And again, the opinion polling says that the people blame him for the crisis. Half of them want him to resign immediately. Now Trump is getting in and he's getting his revenge. In the same way that Netanyahu recognized Biden when Trump was on his way out, now Trump is throwing dirt in his eyes as he's on the way out. And this is awesome because it demonstrates that Trump is an independent force.
You see where now after Nick did this live, Nick is live right now, I think. I don't know where he's going to be at. Dr. Carlin Boriseco said he was on mute. I don't want to laugh at that because, you know, I hate when that happens. So I've been trying to make changes, so I don't want that to happen again. It will, but to minimize it. But Nick's not going to be able to he's not going to be able to defend this. I think Nick's going to be off the train. I don't know if it's going to be tonight, but at some point, he's not going to be able to defend this. If with Trump truthing out, I stand with Israel, that means I think and just those hashtags, that means he's done criticizing Israel. So this is back when he was just 2 days ago or whatever.
As he's on the way out. And this is awesome because it demonstrates that Trump is an independent force. And there's a big difference here. And I'll put it like this. There are obviously many, many politicians that are just shills for Israel because they're paid. They will never go against Israel.
This didn't age well.
They are blackmailed by Israel or they're paid off by Israel. If they went against Israel, their career would be over.
Like every politician in our country, pretty much. If not, show me one that goes against that grain. Just name one. Even the squad, even the squad is very tepid. Ilhan Omar gets a lot of support from Jewish community, however you want to say it. I hate the word community, how they use it, but Jewish people in her district.
So they're slaves. They're slaves to that foreign state. And that's why they all support Israel. Consequently, that's why they all vote in Congress and they say, we stand with Israel. And, they do all these things. On the other hand, if you paid very close attention to Trump's rise, that was never the case with him. And I would point towards comments that he made in the initial stages of the Republican primary in 2015, where, for example, when he was asked about Israel, he said he would make a deal that would work for both Israel and Palestine, which is something that if you're a Likud operative, you don't say.
And that's the same take he has on Ukraine, Russia. So if he had that take and continued that take, then I'd be fine. That's why you didn't see him say, I stand with Ukraine. He was like, I remember the clip we played. I just want to see people stop dying. I just want people to stop dying, Russians and Ukrainians. All of a sudden, he ain't on that tip anymore.
He also was a critic of the Iraq war for 20 years. That's another thing that...
So if you're a critic of the Iraq war, you cannot support what Israel is doing now. The similarities are uncanny.
If you're an agent of Israel, you don't do. He was a critic of the Iraq war from before it even happened, from 20 years ago, and he always has been. And that was one of the major things. That was one of his biggest talking points when he started running. As he said, unequivocally, the Iraq war was a mistake. He even demanded that Jeb Bush admit it was a mistake. And when Jeb Bush flip-flopped on it a few times, Trump called him out and said it took this guy 2 weeks to say that the Iraq war was a mistake.
Yep.
And he made other remarks like during the South Carolina debate.
So that's the clip there that shows that Trump, within 24 hours from that live when Nick did it to today, he says, I stand with Israel. Pretty much forced to is what it looks like to me. Friend of show, Metalopoli says he's against innocent people getting murdered. This is beyond politics. Hamas has to go. Well, I don't think carpet bombing a ghetto is going to get rid of Hamas. I don't want to hear the Hamas has to go, so we carpet bomb this little ghetto where there's 2 million people just there. Who's funding Hamas? Where's Hamas really getting the money for these? If you really were like Hamas has to go, then you would be about that life and you would go straight to Qatar, you go straight to Iran, you go straight to Iraq and say, if you don't do this, this happens. Here's your deadline. You would do something or whatever it is, you wouldn't be going to Palestine. You'd be going at who's paying their bills. This is just a cover-up, a show of force. Like, I can beat this person up because they're weak. You couldn't even go at Lebanon like that because you don't want those problems. There's serious problems with Lebanon, serious problems with Iraq, Iran. If you're really about Hamas has to go, then you think bombing the strip's going to stop it? So if they've got money that they're paying to give to these young men in Hamas, you bomb the strip, what happens now? What's next? They pay to give the money and pay some other young men to do the same thing. Don't tell me that bombing the strip is going to get rid of Hamas. I'm not a Bobo the idiot. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't eradicate, even if it's not Hamas, it's a different group. It's Hamas, it's Mama, it's whatever you want to call the group. It's a new group with the same money. The guys who are funding Hamas are in a palace somewhere, chilling in their Lamborghini, waiting for the Cybertruck to come out. And you don't have any energy for them. I'm not saying that would be easy, but don't tell me that bombing of these buildings and these kids, half their population are kids. Half their population are inbred. I mean, literally. I think Metalopoly, you might have done, somebody posted that in the Discord. I haven't done a segment on it. I don't know. I don't have the clip ready for it. They did a study. The average IQ is like 67 in Palestine. You think that's gonna get rid of Hamas? Let's say it did get rid of Hamas. How many innocent people is that worth? Is it 1,000? Is it 10,000? Is it 100,000? Iraq, Afghanistan, it was 400,000 plus as a conservative effort, a conservative estimate. So are we condoning now the response to 9/11? Is that where we've come? We're contorting ourselves so much into a pretzel to justify the Israeli response. We're now aligned with Dick Cheney back in the day. That's the end of the MAGA movement, if that's the stance. So if that's not the stance, I'd recommend clarifying that real quick, because the movement's done. And you've got people who are jumping aboard on this and really taking, I almost want to say liberties with this. He's not MAGA, but this is where MAGA's going. If you say you support Israel's right to defend themselves, then why don't you support this? Hold on, I got my stuff messed up.
Or Hezbollah to fire all of those rockets, we wouldn't be talking about 1,300 rockets.
This is Ben
so
Shapiro.
The real risk for Israel in not finishing off Hamas right now is that this is taken as a sign of weakness, as it certainly would be, by Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a far more dangerous terrorist group than Hamas. Hamas is a dangerous terrorist group. They just proved it by killing 1,300 Jews. Hezbollah currently has over 100,000 highly sophisticated rockets aimed directly at the north of Israel. Estimates suggest that were Hezbollah to fire all of those rockets, we wouldn't be talking about 1,300 dead Jews. You'd be talking about somewhere between 20 and 30,000 dead Jews, day one. If Hezbollah...
So it would behoove them, Israel, if this, I believe this is 100% true, from what I know, what I've been looking into. They're coming from up north. There is a little bit of defense with the mountains in Israel up north. But nowadays, you got drones and stuff. They're not really doing big, large infiltries coming through. So the mountains as the defense aren't that as much as they might have been in the past. They're doing drones and stuff like that, and missiles. So Israel's got a ton of reserves called up just to get into the little strip of Gaza. Why? Because they probably planned all this. So you think Hezbollah is smart. Well, Hamas is not stupid either. They came in barefoot with the paratroopers, ran up out of there. They ran and hid. Israel demolished much of Gaza. I don't know if it's all of it, because I'm seeing videos where there's some of it's not. So they did some strikes on there. We don't know if that killed one person. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 0 Hamas killed in those strikes, but they were targeted at, where they had the armories or whatever else. And how many civilians died on that? I don't know. Is it worth it? What about that? Is it maybe 10 dead children for an army? What's the trade-off, guys? I just want to make sure for those who disagree in the chat, is it 100 children equals 1 rocket? So if you get 3 rockets, then 300 children could die. Is that the trade-off that we're okay with? Honestly, I want to know what the numbers are. I'm being dead serious. If you think the trade-off is fine, give me the numbers. Or you're just in that leftist mindset. So if you can't come up with the numbers, I think you're in that leftist mindset where they're very vague. Like, I want to eliminate racism. What is that? What are you talking about? What does that mean? I want to eliminate hate. I want to eliminate Hamas. Okay, so they've already dropped bombs. Where's the update? Where's the update? How many members of Hamas have you killed? Now, I still wouldn't support it, but I want to know those. If you are okay with the strikes, then why aren't you asking for the numbers? They have not released any numbers. Why is that? How many members of Hamas have you killed? What have you got? I need an update. No, it's secret. That's right. That's right. It's secret. Just like how you fucked up and let people come through the country is secret. Just like 9/11. That was secret too. So in retaliation, so they came from Saudi Arabia. So where we hit Iraq. And the American people were so dumb and ignorant. We're like, go, 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 go. Wait, what? They came from Saudi Arabia? Huh? 20 years later, we're in Afghanistan. Like, what's going on? $8 trillion 20 years later. And now MAGA's supporting it. So 3,000 of our citizens died in 9/11. And now MAGA is supporting the response. Just like in the chat, they're saying, you're wrong on this. So that means if you agree with Israel's response here, then you agree with the response to 9/11. So MAGA's now agreeing with Dick Cheney, Rumsfeld, and the clown Bush. Here's MAGA. Here's the next. MAGA's probably, I wonder if Donald Trump's going to bring George Bush up on stage at the next MAGA rally. Since you guys don't want to gatekeep the movement for it to mean a damn, here's your next MAGA rally.
It's going to be tough, and he's got a very seasoned military, but they just called up 300,000 reservists. Most of them probably can't fire a rifle, and to the extent they'd be put in harm's way, it's going to be awfully difficult on the prime minister. But he's got to do what he's got to do. I mean, these.
Oh yeah, the reservists that can't fire a rifle. Yeah, just go ahead and die. Just go ahead and die.
You're dealing with cold-blooded killers, and you can make all kinds of excuses why they are, but they are. And his job is to protect this country. And anyway, we'll find out what he's made out of.
It brought back memories for him to say that anyway. He's still doing that. We all have little things that we say when we're talking all the time. But Biden does the anyway also. George Bush. Here's the next Donald Trump's on stage. He's visiting Alabama, or he's in Arizona. Who's he gonna bring up on the stage? Yes, go MAGA, MAGA.
Going in the neighborhoods of Gaza is going to be tough.
What? MAGA agrees with George Bush. The people in the chat right now. The channels turned from the populist right, anti-war, anti-interventionist to let's go kill everyone.
Going in the neighborhoods of Gaza is going to be tough, and he's got a very seasoned military, but they just called up 300,000 reservists.
Wow.
Most of them probably can't fire a rifle.
Wow.
And to the extent they'd be put in harm's way, it's going to be awfully difficult on the prime minister. But he's got to do what he's got to do. I mean, these. You're dealing with cold-blooded killers. And you can make all kinds of excuses why they are, but they are. And his job is to protect this country. And anyway, we'll find out what he's made out of.
So there it is. It's the lovely union. The cabal is so good that within a matter of moments, gotcha. MAGA didn't rock with the Ukraine stuff. Now, oh shoot, we got this Israeli conflict. MAGA's now rooting for the Mossad and IDF and CIA in Israel right now. The same ones who didn't have the intelligence to begin with. MAGA's rooting them on. I'm still not negative about it. I'm going to tell you why. Tony says, middle MAGA, you are sounding like a hurt, jilted lover. MAGA isn't over. Kick the warmongers out of the movement. No. You can do that. Thank you, Tony. But that's not happening. Where's that happening? This dude, This dude ran up in Congress wearing an IDF uniform. That's not a MAGA person, but maybe I missed it. I can't follow everything. Did anybody from MAGA say anything about this dude right here? He's a member of Congress. So you talk about the Palestinian flag, and I talked about that too. I'm like, I don't like that. I'm not for that. You're flying, it's Rashida Tlaib is flying a Palestinian flag outside her office. Look at this nigga.
What's with your threads today? Can you tell us anything about those? Charlene's got her flag. I've got my uniform.
This motherfucker's wearing an IDF uniform in Congress. Israeli Defense Forces uniform. What the fuck?
What's with your threads today?
MAGA should be in an uproar. Like, at least to the equivalent of clowning Rashida Tlaib for her Palestinian flag. Where's the MAGA outwar? He wore an Israeli. So MAGA, see that? I don't hear any outroar over this. Trump should be talking about it. Oh, Trump's too busy. The next thing, Trump's going to get some blue and white knee pads. He's probably just getting warmed up. What's his name, Brian? What's his name, Mast or whatever? I talked about him once before. Brian Mast. He's a real piece of work. I think I talked about him during the Black Lives Matter. It was the last time I talked about him. This was 2020. He's wearing an Israeli Defense Forces uniform. He's wearing the military uniform of another country. Are you out of your mind? He should be expelled. This is treasonous. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not crazy. We've got people who had permits. They got let in the building at the Capitol in J6, arrested, even non-violent, and they were called by our own citizens seditious and traitors, and some. Enrique wasn't even there. He's in the halls of Congress wearing the uniform of another country. I don't care what country it is. That's unacceptable. You've lost your mind.
What's with your threads
You're not okay. Something's wrong. I don't know what's going on.
today? Can you tell us anything about those?
Thomas Massey's right there. Do you have anything to say? Are we gonna let people in with the Iraqi uniform? They could wear the Palestinian. They could wear Hamas. They could do whatever. Now he didn't set the precedent. We got members of Congress tripping reporters. We got members of Congress wearing the military uniform of another country. Where's this ally come from with Israel? Like, what did we get out of it? How are we allies with Israel? How did that come from? Where's that? Why? He's wearing their uniform, walking through like it's no big deal.
Charlene's got her flag. I've got my uniform.
Okay, so you both are wrong. What a stunning. So I guess this dude, does he have a dual citizen? My goodness. MAGA should be in an uproar about this. This shows you how powerful that group is, that body, and problems you do not want to have. He walked up in there with the uniform of another army. What's next? Are we going to just have International Army Uniform Day in Congress? Somebody's going to wear Mexico. You do Canada. I want to do Israel. I want to do Israel. I want to do Israel this time. My goodness. Wow. So then that's not MAGA, like I said, but maybe I didn't see it. I can't see everything. I didn't see an uproar. I didn't see a concern. I didn't see anybody raise a red flag. I didn't see a lot from MAGA on that. So I wish Israel the best, but why is he cosplaying as an Israeli soldier? Is that going to be, is that the new thing? Are we going to have Israeli soldier gear day in Congress? Is that what they're going to vote on next? After they take another vacation? They probably got, they've been working really hard. They've had to vote like 3 times in secret. Oh, what a hard day. Oh my gosh. Whew. I had to come into work today and I had to raise my hand. I had to say aye. Oh my goodness. Whew. Let's take a recess, guys. Whew. We've been working hard. I had to do a couple interviews. Maybe a couple of them had to do. Most of them, we don't know who they are. They don't even have to do interviews. Man, I had to work a half day today and say I'm voting for Steve Scalise. I had to work a half day and then my handler told me who to vote for. Whew. Man, what am I going to do? Is it Friday yet? Whew. Oh, man. When do I get to wear the IDF uniform? What's next? It's spiraling downhill if you don't realize and don't know. Things are so bad that Ethan Klein is human. The Ethan Klein is the human one. That's how you know things have gone south in your country culturally. When I'm on here saying, Ethan Klein, I appreciate you, bro. And he was on and had an emotional moment. And I think it's real. I do. He's a new father. One of the last times I cried was when my oldest was born. Very visceral, those who have children probably understand to some extent. Very like raw, visceral to see a child being born. It's like, wow. You get in touch with your faith real quick. And he's a new father, so I believe this. He's not a good actor. I've seen his show. We're so crazy that he's the humanitarian one.
It's unacceptable. It's disgusting. I've seen videos, I saw videos of Palestinian dads holding his dead, like 5-year-old daughter. I mean, and there was another one that, like, as a father, it's even hard to talk about. This dude was holding his infant. It was like a year old. And he was like patting her on the back and saying like his final goodbye. I mean, he's holding her like she's alive, like he's just burping her or something. I didn't expect to get emotional about that, but like, I'm a new dad and that shit really fucks me up. And I hate to see it. It's not right. I think people in Israel that support the government and the government need to watch that shit. I think Israel shutting off water, power, and food to Gaza is insane. It doesn't even make sense. Like, what's the end goal there exactly?
Yeah, where are we at where he has the most decent, he has a more decent take than Maga? Where are we at? I believe he's Jewish, by the way. Not that it matters, but I think it's fair for the context of this moment. Even if you are for shock and awe display of bombs and running into now what is an urban jungle trap. So now you want to run up in there. The least that you should be able to hear from these people is that we do care about the collateral damage. I mean, they'll probably have a different term than me, but that's what it is. They're defending the loss of lives as collateral damage. Imagine if you were one of those citizens of Palestine with an IQ of 67. You didn't vote for them. Maybe you're too young. Last time they voted for Hamas was 2006. And imagine you're 15 years old and you don't know what the hell's going on. Hamas comes through, they do their horrible tragedy, and the way Ethan Klein feels about the videos he saw, that I don't know if they're real or not, but that's not the point. The point is he thinks they're real, and that's the reaction, an authentic reaction. And use same thoughts that he had for those, I have for those who lost loved ones or even have hostages right now from Israel. It's the same type of concern and pain, and it's terrible. So you're a 15-year-old in Palestine. Israel makes the announcement, we'll give you 24 hours to get out. Where are you going to go? There ain't nowhere to go. Egypt has a wall 20 feet tall and then 10 feet underground, because I know y'all like to dig tunnels. Ain't happening. They have some over the years refugees there, but they're like, no. We're not having million come through the border. We just can't do that. Jordan, no, we can't do that. And then it's not feasible for them to get anywhere other than that. I mean, they can't. I mean, Jordan, I don't even know if Jordan's feasible. It's all like up on Egypt. So Israel says you got 24 hours to get up out of there. But they blew up the exit ways out. They cut off the food, water. They cut off the electricity. So you're 15 years old. You got all that done. And then next thing you know, a bomb's coming out the sky. And Maga supports that. Why? Because it might get a member of Hamas. You think members of Hamas are just chilling? They knew Israel was going to strike. They knew it was going to turn into an urban jungle, which is guerrilla warfare, just like Vietnam. So that's why they have to use, Israel reportedly has to use this device called a teddy bear to get through there. Why? Because there's going to be snipers on every roof. That's why. It's a death trap. That's why George Bush, who's now, I guess, a new member of MAGA, or at least MAGA agrees with him, George Bush said, basically he said they're going to die. That's what he was saying when George Bush said they don't know how to shoot a rifle. He's used to moving these chess pieces around. He's like, oh, the ones that they called up, they're not as good as the standard everyday soldiers. They're just the grunt shoulders that are going to walk through the urban jungle, get sniped in the head, and then we can locate the snipers. They're the ones that are going to die first. So they're going to need vehicles like this called the teddy bear, an Israeli armored bulldozer that will be leading Israeli soldiers. This is through Colin Rugg, who's a great follow on X. They're going to be leading Israeli soldiers through the streets of Gaza because there's mines, there's machine guns hiding behind every wall. They're walking into it and they're hiding because they knew what was going to happen, and now they're ready to prepare to get at them. Great job. Looks like a great job. The bulldozer weighs 62 tons and will be used to help clear a path for 300 tanks and over 700,000 Israeli soldiers. Do you know how small the Gaza is? They need 170,000 Israeli soldiers to get through there. IDF Caterpillar D9 Doobie, known as the teddy bear, heavily modified Caterpillar bulldozer, was created by the IDF, the uniform that Brian Mast was wearing, for urban warfare and can be used to clear paths for tanks and infantry. Crew. It has room for 2 soldiers, a driver and a commander. The front blade is used to detonate or destroy mines, so it can run over the mines or go boom, boom, and the mines blow up. You got to clear the mines. They set traps all over the place. You just made it. I mean, it's not easy to go in there. This is a death trap. So you can see the problem. They come in through the south. They have to go slowly with these big, expensive, and I'm sure that Hamas probably has something. I don't know if it's a rocket launcher or what. Every single item has a counter item. Maybe it's just ink to put over it and you can't see where you're going. Who knows? So you've got that problem. But then if Hezbollah comes from the north, then now you've got missiles coming from the north. You might not need as many soldiers out there, but I don't know. Who knows what could happen if they can. Israel will have the vantage point coming up from the mountains. They're higher. Even the plateaus are higher. So you have vantage points. So it's most likely going to be rockets coming from the north. If that happens, we hope that doesn't happen. But then Israel can't be acting wild because that gives them more motivation for Hezbollah and Lebanon citizens and Iranians to say, let's go, let's go, let's go. It doesn't matter if they're Sunni or Shiite. They're like, this is our opportunity. The enemy of my enemy is my friend opportunity. So while you're in here saying, Israel, go wipe them all out, well, that means that they're going to be very vulnerable. And that means I stand with Israel. Israel has a right to defend itself. That means if they get escalated, like Ben Shapiro was talking about, he wants American resources. And he doesn't want to get there with the people yet because he knows that it's not there. So he says money. He wants American soldiers there. And that's why the U.S. brought a couple carriers up over there to try to deter that from happening. It would behoove MAGA to say, MAGA doesn't have any problem to say, no money to Ukraine, we out of this. Why do you have a problem with Israel? What's the difference? And when you talk about the tragedy that happened, 3,000 people died in 9/11. Are we going Jonathan Greenblatt, where one Israeli is about 100 Americans? Is that what we're doing? So if it's only this many Israelis, then you gotta multiply that by 300 to get the equivalent for Americans. And then Japanese, well, for the Japanese, then you gotta multiply it by 400 per Israeli citizen. Is that what we're doing? In 9/11, 3,000 people dead. And the response, kill 400,000 innocents. Do you agree with that or not? What did we get from that? What did we get for it? What do you expect Israel to get from theirs? That's why I have to go into this thing that's all caged up and snipered up, protected from snipers, because the snipers are just going to be up out of, this is basically real life guerrilla warfare video game type stuff, but it's real life. They added slat armor to defend against rocket-propelled grenades because everything has a weakness. So they're probably going to be somewhere with the rocket-propelled grenades. Get that thing out of there. How much the thing costs, too? Oh, don't worry about it. You'll probably pay for it with your tax dollars. That's what Ben Shapiro wants you to do. Sounds like that's what MAGA wants you to do, too. If that's not what you want, you better make your boundaries clear. When you stand with Israel, then tell me where you don't stand, because I don't know where your boundaries are. My boundaries are straight and pretty straight and clear. You don't bring me into it. Don't bring my money into it, and don't do this. This pissed me off. And MAGA hasn't said anything about this. That's why I think, I'm sorry, Tony. It's okay, and after I do this, and I'll get to why I'm not black-pilled about it. It's okay. I kind of feel like Joan Rivers. It's okay. It's okay. We all knew she was a tranny. It's okay. It's okay. We all knew MAGA wasn't going to be there forever. This pissed me off, and I know I have not seen any member of MAGA go against this. This pissed me off right here. From the IDF, hashtag I stand with Israel, same basically, I think Trump's was I stand, but same thing. So even if you stand with Israel, so the tweet here is a picture from the IDF that says you either stand with Israel or you stand with terrorism. Don't you dare try to get me into a false dichotomy. Don't you dare do that. And even if you are a stand with Israel person, you know the movement's done if you can't say, well, hold up. We have people who disagree and they have a right to disagree. They don't stand with terrorism. Don't dare. I have a right to ask, who are you talking about? If you are referring to anyone, and this is very clear, but I still want to ask, who are you talking about? And you damn sure better not be referring to me. You and I are not friends. There is no issue that I care about that your country cares about. In fact, you're against me. Don't you dare try to put a false dichotomy. And then now my own politicians can't talk against this. Why? Because of your influence. And then now I have to stand with you while you murder innocent people. Don't do that. I'll call my own government terrorists. My own government's calling me a terrorist, potentially. The FBI. Who trains the FBI? ADL? Who works? CIA, FBI works with Mossad, IDF. They all brothers and sisters, basically. How many members? I could do that for another segment. How many members, ex-members of Israeli surveillance works for social media companies? It's a ton. I don't have the thread ready from, I think it was my man, Names Redacted or something like that. I think he did that thread. He just goes straight on LinkedIn. It's all out there public. He's just going through LinkedIn and then somehow quickly cross-checking. And then it's funny how he cross-checks. A lot of them change their profile after he cross-checks. It's funny. So that the ones that he brings up is not even an exhaustive list. Because if they don't have it on LinkedIn, he's not knowing. There's nowhere to cross-check it. I mean, it's damn near another agency of the FBI, CIA, Mossad, IDF. All against me. And maybe they're not against you anymore if you're standing with Israel. They might give you a break. Who knows? You better hope they do. I stand with tourism. Stand with tourism. Tony says, hey, Osiris, my family has been under Fed surveillance since 2002. I belong to no political party. You give up a lot to be really independent. Yep. And we know we all are pretty much, and it's to varying degrees. I think they're going to obviously start with certain people first, but they wouldn't censor on social media and YouTube if it didn't matter what some Steve Urkel looking dude is saying in his basement. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't censor. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't ban. If they didn't matter, they wouldn't shadow ban. So they're worried about you, what you have to say. No, don't think you're too small. So that's my take. I guess that's it. That's my take on the unfortunate end of MAGA, and I will wrap it up with the positive. The positive is that MAGA is going to evolve. We had the Tea Party, we had MAGA, and then we'll have something else. Something else will spawn out of the MAGA movement, and it will be more. And I think Nick Fuentes has been ahead of this, actually. He's going to be behind. If he's still on the coattails of Donald Trump, he's going to be behind. He's usually ahead of the curve, kind of like hip-hop. He's going to be behind. Yes, Ray, we're going to Ray Studios $2 super chat. Thank you. We still talking the MLK tapes tomorrow. Yes, Ray, we're going to go and change the topic. Ray Studios will be guest the show. We'll have to figure out the time, but we're going to do that eventually. We'll figure out the time for tomorrow. For Honor Forge says, I don't trust Nick, though. I don't trust anybody. So I agree. I don't even trust myself. That's why I need people with other perspectives, like Carlos came on. Carlos is pro-Israel. He's gave the best pro-Israel take I've heard. Very religious-based, faith-based. and he's way more knowledgeable in that stuff than I am. So I've got to read up to get to his level. I can't retort. I don't want to retort just to retort, but I'm not knowledgeable enough to have the conversation on that level. Taco, Fred the Show, hopefully you're doing well. The Liberty Movement, and that's where I've always known it was going to get this way. Taco, you know, I have that sweater that has libertarian in big letters and then MAGA in small letters. Libertarian, and I have a tweet. I think I actually have it saved up here from. Shoot, do I not have it? I have a tweet here from the end of 2022, but I probably said it even before that, where I said that I said that I had a fear about MAGA, about the MAGA movement. And I can't find it. I got my FBI board up here and I can't find the tweet. But it's from 2022 where I said I had a fear of MAGA going authoritarian. So I have it in my FBI board and I still have to search on X for it. But there are signs. I knew this was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to happen like this. That's for damn sure. I did not know it was going to happen like this. I am shocked by this. I did not think MAGA was going to be supporting basically the same 9/11 take, just with Israel. This is from November 2nd, 2022. I posted on X, Twitter at the time. I am concerned about MAGA becoming authoritarian. That's why the Libertarian Party is so important to hold them accountable. And the type of authoritarianism they could wield is dangerous because it might come from a place of revenge. We're not there yet, but it's a concern. And I didn't think it was going to be revenge like Revenge for Israel, but that's where it came from. Because somebody asked me, which is a fair question, are you having second thoughts about your allegiance to MAGA? Absolutely not. And I have nothing against people who are MAGA, and we have a strong disagreement here, but I have no beef. I said, fair question. No, I'm not questioning my allegiance. I've never been aligned. Why am I middle MAGA? MAGA at its core is authoritarian, meaning it appeals to authority. So when I say, I think we need to have a peaceful separation, and people think it's not going to be peaceful, that's radical. But then the same people say, you should go ahead and just eliminate innocent people. That's not radical, though. So that's an example of authoritarian. I'm saying peacefully separate, decentralize, no war, no aggression, safe haven for Grandpappy Don, J6ers, Michigan 16, Georgia 19, J6ers on peace. And if they pop off violence, that's on them. I'm not doing any violence. But now MAGA is saying there should be death and destruction. Oh, they're so evil, you need to wipe them out, death and destruction. If you could just wipe out and just wave a magic wand and wipe out just the Hamas members, I'd be like, go ahead. I would yawn. I'd be like, oh, I'm tired. Yo, did you do it yet? I would be like, great. And if you knew that it was the right ones, 100% hypothetical world, and you could just wipe them out quickly, I'd be like, okay, great. What's for dinner? But we don't live in utopia. So own what you're supporting. And that's MAGA's authoritarian. And I'm not authoritarian. We always knew that there was going to be this split in the road. That's why I coined the phrase middle MAGA. The populist left is way better on this than the populist right. Some on the populist left obviously go too far. But just generally speaking, the left is way better than this on the right. Just like on Ukraine, the right's way better than the left. Both authoritarian. That's why I made that gear with the libertarian. This is the sweater. Go to Middle MAGA store. You can get your libertarian MAGA shirt. So I do have other gear with just MAGA on it. I'm not dropping it. I make MAGA what I want it to be. But the movement, like respecting the movement, the greater movement out there with Matt Gaetz and all that, it's all done. We're just too far off on this, and we're just gonna have to agree to disagree. We're too far off. There's no kind of like, oh yeah, that's not gonna work. Metalopoly says, check out counter evidence posted in Discord. Let's take a look at the Discord. Thank you. It's a good time to talk about the Discord. I was not able to look in there yet, so let me just post the link. And anybody can go to the Discord and see. Metalopoly said that Metalopoly put the, what's that? Yo, Toy Mafia? Discord link is in the chat. Let's see what we have from the Discord. Let me share the screen and let's look at the Discord together. Great discussion there. We're going to look for Metalopoly has counter evidence. Now, what was the counter evidence? Just so I can see what I'm looking for. Trump calls out Netanyahu. This is what I was talking about with Nick. After this happened, Trump posted, "I stand with Bibi. I stand with Israel." This is older. This is the Nick Fuentes. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen. This is the Nick Fuentes conversation. I'm not going to play the whole thing again, but just if this is what it is, Metalopoly. Nick Fuentes, I had a clip where Nick Fuentes talked about this.
And I remember at that time thinking, this will alienate Netanyahu from Trump because Trump is an ego guy. And I love that about him.
So after that happened, he posted, "I stand with Israel." We know what that means. That means unconditionally. And I will take it as unconditionally until he puts some conditions on it. Had no problem putting conditions on Ukraine, even though Trump is and always has been pro-Ukraine. But he never put any, he never said, I stand with Ukraine. I've never heard Trump say that or post that. No, it sounds more jingoistic to me, which has both merits and significant drawbacks in terms of looking at how war should be conducted. I mean, you're going to war, but you're not going to the source. So I don't respect that. Israel's not going to the source. Like if we had beef with North Korea, the source is China. North Korea is as big as what, Kansas? It's a small little country. Where are they getting their money from? Where are they getting around sanctions from? It's from China. The beef is with China. So if we ever had beef with North Korea, we got to go to China. We're not going to go to North Korea I mean, Trump crossed the line there, but I'm saying like if it got to the point where Israel and Palestine are, and Palestine it's not even a country. It's just a hood. It's the hood part of Israel. Israel doesn't even have borders. Metalopoly says public speech is greater than a tweet. Now I'm gonna go by the latest comment. I'm gonna go, no, he did it after the public speech. After the public speech, he said, "I stand with Israel." So if he comes out again and says something, he's not. He's not. The truth post was basically, "I'm sorry," is what it was. The truth post came after the public speech. So what he's trying to do is clean up there. It's like, okay, I still have my knee pads for you guys. I'm not rogue. Don't get rid of me. It's basically, I mean, it sounds scared to me. That's all in my head because all he did was 2 hashtags. But that's my impression. He sounded scared out of his mind. You won't hear him say one more bad word about nobody. He won't say one critical word about Israel again. Watch. And that's too bad for MAGA, but it's not sad. It's gonna be a different. The movement's going to evolve into, Nick has been ahead of that. America first. It's America first, man. You can't be an America first person and say I stand with Israel. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work like that. You can say I'm America first, and here's what I have for Israel. You can do that, but you can't just say I stand with Israel. I stand with Jamaica. I stand with Mexico. Like that don't. I stand with Canada. That don't work. That don't make any sense. I'm America first. Here's where I agree. I'm America first. I would recommend, number one, look at our mistakes. That's the MAGA take from this. I'm America first. My heart's thoughts and prayers go out. It's the whole country is shaken by what we saw there. Number one, MAGA was born in part because of what happened after 9/11. Don't make those same mistakes. Why am I not hearing that take? Am I missing that? Is MAGA not saying that? Or what are we doing? 9/11, we had 3,000 dead. Here's what we learned from it. Don't do the Patriot Act. Don't let these people have unfettered power to just retaliate quickly to cover up for their mistakes. No, there's no need for that. We need to go methodically. You need to get permission from the people. I don't know what their strategy is, but that's what I can help you with. I can help you with the importance of the Second Amendment. That's an America first stand. Now, I have heard some people say that, but not loudly enough. That's the American stance. And then the third American stance is, I got thoughts and prayers for you, but we don't have any money or weapons. So you take that into account with your strikes. Don't do too much to get them riled up on the. Did I miss a super stat? Oh no, I started. Don't get too much to get them riled up all around you. We aren't getting involved. That's not what we do. We got a border. We got our problems. That's what we're going to take care of. I fully understand that. I'm not talking about it from a religious. Metalopoly says, Osiris, you're not a religious person. You don't understand the implications of this. I consider myself a Christian, but I'm not. Obviously, Metalopoly knows I'm not very knowledgeable, religious. I rely on other people. That's why I had Carlos come in. Carlos made the take. So Metalopoly would agree with Carlos on this one, and Carlos is great. And so I would have to get my knowledge up to get to that level on that. But I don't. This is not a religious thing to me, and I don't know how we can, like, if it is a religious angle, then we don't want innocent life. Life is savage. So I've said that about slavery. I said, what do you want from me? A cookie? Life is savage. Our ancestors got enslaved. Don't get enslaved. That's a lesson to learn. So I'm not. I mean, that's the Palestinians. They are born there. They have the low IQ. They're getting manipulated. That's their reality, and life is savage. But that doesn't mean I support slavery, and that doesn't mean I support killing them. And I think that's my religious take on it. But I know what you mean. I don't have the historical stuff. I'm not getting into that. We're getting into religious war, and our country doesn't even stand by religious principles. So why would I support Israel on a biblical stance when our country doesn't even do that? Our country is not even standing on a biblical. So we talk about men can be women. I don't even have my own country on a biblical stance, and that's not even a biblical stance. This is normal people, but you know what I mean. It's like I can't even. No, I'm America first, and there's no exceptions to that. None. It's not possible. You might have seen this. Babylon B have been in their bag. They've been in their bag lately. Babylon B had Dylan Mulvaney on their headline. Babylon B says, guess who's man of the year? Is YouTube still sensitive about this? Is it YouTube's stance that you can't criticize Dylan Mulvaney? I don't know if that's their stance or not. That's a hell of a stance if it is. It doesn't matter to my take here. I'm a grown-ass man. I'll criticize whoever I want to criticize. Man of the year, Babylon B. So it's come full circle. Dylan Mulvaney is Babylon B's man of the year. Dylan Mulvaney actually won an award. Dylan Mulvaney actually won another award, and of course it's for Woman of the Year. They're giving niggas Woman of the Year awards. And And we're going to talk about Israel and the importance of the land, the Jews having to hold the land in Israel. I don't know. Let's first let's figure out what a man or a woman is. There you go, Dylan. Go. Go, Dylan. Go, Dylan. Go, Dylan. Maybe he is a woman. You know what? I'll take it back. You all the way there, dude. You straight up a woman. There's no dude that dance around like that. I'm a bad dancer, and at least I don't look like that. I'm a worse dancer than that, but at least I hopefully don't look like a woman like that. This dude was special, man. Who knew back in this day? This cool. I feel like dancing too. Like we both wearing pink too. Let's do this, D. Yeah. It's the homie D. Those jeans, you definitely a woman, bro. Those jeans tighter than Seinfeld's. He was gonna go forever. They had to take him off the stage like Sandman at the Apollo. He was not gonna stop. This is I don't know what year it is. This is when he was on Price is Right. Dylan Mulvaney started his career on wooing the crowd on The Price is Right. Then he was an actor in the play of The Book of Mormon on Broadway, and it was shut down due to COVID. And here we are now. Do you get it? All the world is a stage. His performance that he's been putting on TikTok, it's impressive, man. He doesn't need a Woman of the Year award. He needs an Oscar award. There needs to be a new division of the Oscars, and that division needs to be the social media division. And it should be they should just copy the Grifties with Hotep Jesus and Uncle Jesus. And it's not the Grifties, it's the Oscars. Look at this. So he went from that person here, he went from Mayor Pete Buttigieg to whatever, what actress do you think that looks like? I can't lie, D looks good there. Looks like, if I didn't know, I would have thought that was a woman, to be honest with you. But little do you know, it's Mayor Pete Buttigieg, allegedly. Mayor Pete's been busy. If it doesn't work out as transportation secretary, we know Mayor Pete's got another career lined up. He looked just like this dude right here. And that dude right there transformed. He had a little surgery, a little work done, shaved up a little bit, put on a wig or whatever, and then transformed to that. Next thing you know, he's Woman of the Year. We got men. The Woman of the Year has a banana. And I'm worried about the Israeli-Palestine conflict. You crazy? Like that, do you know where that leads to, where a society doesn't know what a man or a woman is? And then not only that, gets angry about anybody talking about it, that leads to death and destruction of your society. That's what it does. So I got my own society to worry about. Dylan Mulvaney just became Woman of the Year. Here you go. How's American culture going? How's that Western culture going for us? Attitude. Dylan Mulvaney was just named Woman of the Year. No, this is not satire. Is that attitude? How the TikTok star is using the power of positivity to uplift trans women. Wonderful. Oh, thanks, D. And then, of course, what does Dylan do with this newfound fame, invited to the White House, getting awards that are meant for women, but he's a biological male? What do you do with that kind of that influence that you have? And you actually have a little bit of power, to be honest. You actually have a little bit of power. I mean, everybody's talking about it. What do you do about it? You become a victim, of course. We're in that victimhood prawn culture.
Supported.
That's why a lot of the left, some of the left that's cringe on Palestine, they're there because they just view Palestine as the latest victim.
The Woman of the Year award, supported by Virgin Atlantic, goes to Dylan Mulvaney.
Hello, London!
In London, they have uprising of pro-Hamas rallies. Interesting. And they're hosting this too. Yeah, I wonder if the two are related. Yeah, we had pro-Hamas rallies here too. Oh, and then there was a day of jihad. Luckily, nothing happened, but I don't know. Maybe we should worry about that first.
I am so honored to be here with you all tonight. And, you know, some see me as the Woman of the Year. Some see me as a woman of a year and some change, as I only publicly came out online 560 days ago. And some people don't see me as a woman at all. I know, which is why receiving this honor from a queer publication like Attitude means so much more to me. Because here's what I've realized. You ready? Okay. So, no matter how hard I try, or what I wear, or what I say, or what surgeries I get, I will never reach an acceptable version of womanhood by those hateful people's standards. But as long as I have the queer community that sees me for my truth,
Good.
I'm gonna be okay.
Good. Then what's the problem? Your terms are acceptable.
I'm equally grateful that this title is happening in the UK, and not just because I am deeply attracted to your accents, which I am, but because I came to London on holiday this summer after months of feeling isolated. And when I arrived, I didn't feel that baggage that I was carrying back in the US.
Doesn't look as much as a woman like without the filters on TikTok.
And I didn't feel like the trans beer girl. You know, I didn't walk into rooms and wonder, oh, does that person hate me? I was just another gal walking around in a Burberry trench on her way to a West End musical. And, you know,
I don't hate you, D. I don't hate you at all. I just would appreciate if you didn't call people who don't view you as a woman haters or hatred, and that you're not in the White House advocating for my rights to be removed. I have a problem with that. I don't know you, so I don't hate you.
I romanticized this country as a safe place. And as dangerous as it is for trans people here right now, like the hate that was spewed last week, maybe it's less about where we are and more about who we're with. And that if I'm surrounded by people like you all, that this still can be one of my safe spaces. So, when you have a win for trans rights, that's a win for us back in the States too. And I think if we all just adopt a girl's girl mentality and we say goodbye to the scarcity complexes, that we have a better chance of getting through this, because they want us to be in competition with each other. They would love nothing more than to see the L's and the B's and the G's turn their backs on the T's. And to quote the critically acclaimed High School Musical franchise, "We're all in this together." I know, almost as profound as Shakespeare. But I wanted to give a quick shout out to some of the girls in my life, both cis and trans, that have helped.
As I always say with this topic, D, if you believed in the First Amendment, if you believed in the Second Amendment, and you believed that I had the right to call you whatever you want to call, I want to call you, and you have the right to call me whatever you want to call me, and there shouldn't be any beef as long as we're not infringing on our rights, I would say go ahead, Queen. That's the real problem. I'm getting tired of these people using their identity to try to squash people's rights. Get the hell out of here. You know what happened with Ukraine? They found a better girl. This reminds me of if you're with a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever, and you kind of upgrade, you kind of see something a little bit better. Listen to this here, and this is John Kirby, who's taken over on some of the, I would say, more tougher type of conversations for Queen Jean-Pierre. And he's talking about Ukraine. Listen to how sly he is about Ukraine here. See if you can catch what caught my attention here.
Thanks. Just to follow up on Brian's question, I know contours of a congressional package is still taking shape, but can you provide us anything on a timeline or give us a sense of how quickly the U.S. would exhaust what it can provide to Israel before congressional action is needed?
We have existing authorities and appropriations to support.
So just to be clear, sometimes listening to this stuff is hard to hear. Talking about how much money we got for Israel.
What it can provide to Israel before congressional action is needed.
We have existing.
So what can you provide to Israel before congressional action is needed? And I guarantee you that you see that push that you had for Ukraine, where it's like, no, we don't want any Ukraine funding in there. So the cabal's like, it's getting harder to justify the Ukraine money. All the bullshit, it kind of ran out. We kind of ran that gravy train as far as we can. And even Kevin McCarthy couldn't even he tried to do backroom deals and stuff. They're like, we got a better chick out here.
The U.S. would exhaust what it can provide to Israel before congressional action is needed.
We have existing authorities and appropriations to support Israel in the near term. And I got asked last time, what is near term or what's a bit mean? I can't give you a date on the calendar because
I don't know. War is expensive. It depends on how many innocent people die. Oh.
I can't give you a date certain on the calendar because a lot of it's going to depend on their expenditure rate and what the replenishment ability is, or what the need is, and what our ability to do it is. But in the near term, we've got appropriations and authorities for both Ukraine and for Israel.
So you got two women. The problem when you got two women is you got two bills. Both women want to get their hair and nails did. You got dinners. Both of them want to go out to dinner. You doubling up on your funds. So he's like, yeah, for both of my girls, they both going to get taken care of. I'm going to pay both of their car notes.
Ukraine and for Israel. But you don't want to be trying to bake in long-term support when you're at the end of the rope. And in Ukraine.
Wait, what did you say, my nigga? What? He tried to say, wait, what? So imagine you talking about that one girl. You're like, I don't want to talk about, maybe you're with the one chick you about to leave. And that's Zelensky and stilettos. And Zelensky's like, y'all gave me a few bill this past, time or whatever. Billion. War is expensive with these drones and stuff, man. We dropping a lot of them. We're doing a lot of them here. When am I gonna get my next re-up? I'm thinking about like spring next year. Not that I'm trying to plan the whole time. I'm gonna need a re-up before then. I'm probably gonna need, I don't know, maybe a couple billion. When am I gonna get my couple billion, John Kirby?
In long-term support.
Zelensky. How do I put this? So John Kirby's like, take off your stilettos, sit down. This is gonna be a tough conversation.
Long-term support when you're at the end of the rope.
So John Kirby's like, sit down. This is gonna be a tough one. I don't want to think about our relationship in a long-term situation. It's not me. It's not you. It's me.
When you're at the end of the rope. And
it's tough to think about the billion you'll need in December when we're kind of at the end of our rope.
Support when you're at the end of the rope. And in Ukraine, on the Ukraine funding,
we're what? We never heard that. So you better be careful to do that one on a conference call, because Zelensky is going to look real salty.
End of the rope. And in Ukraine, on the Ukraine funding, we're coming near to the end of the rope. I mean, today we announced $200 million, and we'll keep that aid going as long as.
Did they just slide in that they're at the end of the rope for Ukraine funding? Like nobody, like when have you ever heard anyone say that from the government? I haven't heard anyone outside of a couple MAGA people say that we're done with the Ukraine funding. He now says just slyly, and he's like a weasel, because that's why he's stuttering. He's like, it's not you. We're at the end of the. Hey, Zelly, it's not you. It's me.
In Ukraine, on the Ukraine funding, we're coming near to the end of the rope. I mean, today we announced $200 million, and we'll keep that aid going as long as we can, but it's not going to be indefinite. So are we moving with a sense of alacrity? Absolutely. I couldn't give you a date certain on the calendar.
So Zelensky's like, who's she at? Who is she? You know, that's the moment in the movie or the relationship where the girl that's getting dropped kind of has that nasty look on her face. And she's like, oh, so now we can't plan ahead to pay my car note in January. Who is she? Whose car note are you paying? That's Zelensky right now. He's like, wait a second. I just floated through the crib. I just came through the crib. Remember, we had a good time. We made love and everything. And John Kirby's like, yeah, you know, that relationship is over now. We found a new chick. This bitch got Maga on the side too. See, the problem that I had with you, I could never get those maggots on our side. This one here, oh, they out for blood, man. They angrier than me. They angrier than me. So it's not you. I just found a better chick. I'm not gonna lie. Move out by November. You out, bruh. Pack up your things and get out. I don't know why I'm laughing. He already got his loot. He good. He like, okay, I'm good. But on the sly, on just some random press conference, it wasn't Joe Biden. It wasn't any type of. They didn't even get like Newsweek to break it or The Guardian. He just said, by the way, your rope's coming to an end. Move out by next week. Everything. Man. When they said that they were using when Mitt Romney literally said they were using Ukrainians to die in the war, it was the best money. It was the best money ever spent. Mitt Romney has this on his X feed right now. I'm not exaggerating, but I guess this is MAGA for Israel though. But the same thing. But back when MAGA was against intervention in war and wanted peace and no one to die on both sides, back when MAGA was there, Mitt Romney posted on X, and he posted, this is the best defense. It's only 5% of the budget. And guess what? Guess what the best part of it is? Ukrainians are dying, not Americans. So now MAGA's like, the best part of it is Israelis are dying, not Americans. Israeli army, we're talking about the army. So he had that on there. And now they're cutting him off. They didn't even encourage him to negotiate, not publicly. So now Zelly's going to have to go run to Putin, and Putin's going to be like, you in a hell of a predicament now. So your ex-bitch got to go to her ex-boyfriend in a way and make a deal. Like I'm out in the street. He's kicking me out in a week. I got nowhere to go. I know you don't rock with me like that, but can we work something out? That deal with Putin's going to be real rough. That's going to be a rough deal with Putin. Putin's like, I saw it on the news that your man said to move out by next week. This isn't going to be good. Bend over. This is going to be a rough one. Putin's like, this is not going to be. Putin's like, this is not going to be an easy one for you. Putin's like, put the stilettos back on. You're going to need them. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to find something to fill the dead air. I can't do this. Putin's like, I'm gonna need you to dress up as Dylan Mulvaney this month. I'm gonna need you to dress up like Dylan Mulvaney, put on some stilettos, and then we'll go from there. Putin's like, let me beat your ass now to avoid from beating your ass later.
In order to prevent us from whooping your ass in the future, we have to whoop your ass right now. This is psychopathic behavior.
Putin's like, so Zelly has to go holler at Putin and be like, you know what? I think we could get you. I think we could still get Russia. You're going to have a lot of casualties. Even if we lose, you're going to have a lot of casualties. But I think we could still get you. But you know what? I'm feeling nice today. I'm going to try to negotiate. And then Putin's going to be like, I saw. Like, I saw that your man is leaving you. Where's your Biden support at?
Where the fuck are the Joe Biden supporters?
Putin's like, where the fuck is that Joe Biden support at?
Where the fuck are the Joe Biden supporters? I can tell y'all why I support Trump. Tell me why y'all support this motherfucker.
Putin had a deal a while back, and his deal was, I think it was something like, damn, I forgot what the deal was. It was very simple. He was like, let me just get Crimea and just guarantee that you're not going to be a part of NATO. And Zelly's probably going to go back to Putin crawling on his knees, wearing a two-piece and stilettos, and he's going to say, Pootie Bear, remember that deal that we had on the table? And Putin's going to be like,
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
I wouldn't want to be Zelly going back to Putin. Putin's probably going to be like, I have a couple of guys in my military. I don't tell a lot of people about it. They like kind of guys like you. Do you have a Dylan Mulvaney outfit? Yeah, go ahead and get that. Zelly, don't pick up the soap. When you go into those negotiations with Putin, don't pick up the soap. That's for sure. Don't drop your crack pipe either.
You really need to put down the crack pipe. Hunter's crack pipe.
Damn, that happened fast, didn't it? That happened fast in a motherfucker. All of a sudden, he's like, oh, you know what, that money to Ukraine, it's drying up real quick. I'm like, what the where'd that come from? All the fanfare, it was damn near you gotta die for Ukraine, basically, or you're evil. It went from the pandemic to Ukraine, like, boom, real quick. And then we're still in the thick of the Ukraine stuff. People still got the I die with the Ukraine or I live for Ukraine shirts or whatever. And just like that, he just pulls a rug out from, just a random tweet I saw. I didn't see it anywhere else. Just a random tweet where he's like, you know that money? Yeah, that's not happening anymore. These people are savage, man. These people, we talking about some of the most evil, savage people that have ever walked the face of this earth. They're like, you know, all that money that we paid and your soldiers that died and your citizens that had to flee and all that, that's, go ahead and figure it out because that's ending pretty soon. I hope they gave him a heads up before we got a heads up. Could you imagine Zelly's on X, like just surfing around on X trying to see what's going on with Israel and Hamas? And then he comes up on this tweet and he's like, wait, what's this? The rope's coming to an end? What if, you know, sometimes you hear people getting fired from their sports job and whatever, and they didn't know until they saw it on TV? What if Zelly didn't know until he saw that clip from John Kirby? Frantically calling Joe Biden not answering. Joe Biden like, gotcha, bitch.
Gotcha, bitch.
It's over. It's wild, man. This politics, it's no joke. They are savage. They will fucking savage you if they can, man. It's no joke. Things happen fast. MAGA's supporting death and destruction, and Zelly is not getting any more money. It happens fast. Life happens fast. Be prepared. I'm going to wrap up on this topic here. It's a great topic of discussion, and I want to talk about this thread from a user that I think very highly of. And it's about the post that we've seen on X and basically these pictures. And this is not about Israel. It's just in general, we've talked about AI. We've talked about the power of artificial intelligence and what it can do. And we know the government just objectively probably has way better technology, obviously, than what we have. But there's pictures that came out of Israel that we don't know if are real or not. And there's a thread about it here. Dr. Volkole says, this is what cyber warfare looks like. I am raising awareness to the following information because it is absolutely crucial that everyone understands how the fog of war can and will be weaponized in the modern age of AI technology. You can quickly see where it's going. Thank you that it's flagged so I don't have to see it. Because it's not the point of I have no problem showing it, but recently there's a photo of a burnt baby that was released by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And it was among other horrific images, which then circulated on social media. The others seemed real to me, but something didn't feel right to me about one particular image. I don't know. I don't trust any of the images. I don't trust anything that I see now. But the one particular image they're talking about, I've seen an AI hobbyist, or I've been an AI hobbyist for years, and I guess I'm a new hobbyist, and have developed a keen eye for what hallucinated imagery looks like. So alarms were going off in my head when I first saw this and people were claiming it wasn't real. I want to make sure I don't want that picture, so we'll just go whoop, past it. Then news broke out that there was evidence claiming the image was likely AI generated. I don't trust that either. We talked about this when we talked about with AI. When AI comes out, you aren't going to have an AI checker. It doesn't make any sense. Who's going to check the AI checker? Who's going to check the AI checker? Who's going to check the AI checker? I think you get the point. It still comes down to trust. A community note was even put on Ben Shapiro's post of the image referencing an AI detection tool. I took the photo, ran it through the AI or not tool, and indeed it came back as AI. Okay. However, experimental diagnosis tools like this are in their infancy and are inherently unreliable. They will always be unreliable. How do I know it's reliable? You will never be able to know. It's impossible. Now, you will still form an opinion. That's fine. But you won't be able to know, like, definitively. It's not much different than the moon landing. We had what images we had, but I am in my right to say those have not convinced me. I ran the other images that Netanyahu posted, and they all came back as human. The thumbs up correct or thumbs down choices are there to rate if the image was successfully identified or not. This is continuous feedback to the developers who are constantly, you need billions of data points, constantly working to improve the accuracy of the tool. I don't know if that's the picture or not, so let's speed through. In Ben's thread, other users have posted their own submissions of the baby image with a mix of real and fake results. I'm not certain how the detector analyzing the image. I'm not sure how the detector is analyzing the image, but it is less likely. It likely takes many variables into account. It seems possible that any amount of human tampering in post-production, like cropping or resizing or editing or color correcting, or even other things like compression or quality loss from saving and reposing the image may throw off the detector and potentially signal a false negative result. So even though the picture might be real, if you do like a crop or something else, you don't know what the detector is saying. It was pointing out that Laura Loomer's X profile picture was determined by the tool to be AI, which I tried to the same result. The picture may be AI generated, which is very possible for modern AI image generators. I've used AI generated pictures of myself. I want to use more of them just to make me look funny or whatever. I have one that makes me look heavier. I still have on a thumbnail on an Arizona video. I have one that has my eyes a little big. I'm going to play with those. AI image generators to achieve enough images of your face to train it on, but only Loomer can confirm if this is the case. So Laura Loomer has a profile pic. We don't know if it's AI or not. Her profile pic, much less the images coming out of a war, a propaganda war. I also reverse image searched the image, found the same photo on her Gab account, and ran it, came back human. This is not a reliable tool. There'll never be a reliable tool. Without knowing what percentage of an AI image can be modified, therefore an erroneous human result is triggered, it appears very difficult to use this tool to determine whether a real image had AI covertly inserted into it. So it runs her picture back as AI. I don't know. We have no idea if it's AI or not. Then it was revealed that the same image with the dog instead of the baby was posted on 4chan several hours after the first images dropped. So we don't know if the picture of the burned baby was first and then they put the dog in there to make it look like it was really the dog, or the dog was there and then they put a fake baby. You can't even tell that it's a baby. It looks like a burnt chicken breast. We don't know what it is. Have no idea what we're looking at. At first glance, there are elements of the image that seem more realistic. So that's the dog one. There are free AI tools that allow you to change specific areas of an image while preserving the rest. You can do that on Google Photos now. As of this post, the community note on Ben Shapiro's post has been removed. So how bad are community notes? They're adding community notes and removing community notes. That should not be happening. This is Ben Shapiro posting that. So this is where I replied to it. And the end here is the ultimate takeaway from all of this is that one or both of these images may not be real, and there is no definitive way to confirm or deny their validity. This should absolutely terrify you. We now live in a post-truth age where advanced AI creative tools are readily accessible to anyone with an internet connection. These free tools can craft content so realistic that it becomes nearly indistinguishable. It is already indistinguishable from reality. Remember, Trump's mugshot came out and it was fake. A first fake one came out. Additionally, AI-driven image modifications are so subtle often that they can elude detection by the average internet user and can even deceive skilled investigators and their sophisticated tools. What I wanted to stop off was this question here. This should absolutely terrify you. No, it shouldn't. Great thread. There's no diss to the thread. Excellent thread. It should empower you because now we know for sure. How did we get here? We got here because everybody believed what happened in the pandemic. Everyone believed that Trump, Fauci, and everybody else had our best interests in mind. And we believed that the therapeutic was going to be the right thing. And very often before Trump, a lot of people were blue-pilled. We believed Obama was going to be good. We believed this was going to be. Why did we believe this? Why do we believe that it's necessary to kill innocent citizens in Palestine? Because the media tells us to. There's atrocities happening in Somalia, in Sudan, in Haiti, in the south side of Chicago. And don't nobody care about any of those places. Why? Because nobody's told, the media has not told us to. Nick Fuentes had an excellent take because I talk about how social media is in echo chambers. It doesn't reach out. Nick's take was the corporate media is reporting on what's happening on social media. So you're still getting it through the corporate media is still the gatekeeper to the most people, especially more normies. So they haven't told us to care about the Sudan. They haven't told us to care about South Africa. They haven't told us to care about Ethiopia. A lot of them are happening in Africa, unfortunately. They haven't told us to care about Venezuela. So that's why we don't care. We don't know what's going on with the Uyghurs in China. Should we support intervention there or something like that? if what's being told is true with the handling of the Uyghurs. The devices that I'm using to stream to you right now are made in part powered through their batteries by slave-like labor in the Congo. The reason why I say slave-like labor is I think they give them a little bit of change. It's like slavery light. Nobody cares. Why? Because they have a climate agenda. So why talk about that? We are only caring about what they tell us to care about. And as AI gets better and we get duped, we won't trust anything. And that's great. Wasn't that a saying? I will find the truth for the X-Files, I believe. But also a saying was trust no one. And that's going to be a healthy way forward for us. I think more and more people are going to trust less and less as they get duped. And that's going to be a good thing for us. So as far as those photos that were purportedly this baby or that baby, we had a battle of dead children. Like, this dead child is from Hamas. This dead child's from a Palestinian. This dead child's from Israeli. And that's X all day. Luke Wachowski had a great meme with one person holding up a dead baby saying, this baby proves my point. And the other person on the other side had a dead child. And this dead baby or this dead child proves my point. The IDF posting that. This is basically IDF first. And then there's a post on there that's supposedly Hamas that has a doll. I don't know if it's true or not, but allegedly they had a doll that they were going to try to pass as a dead child in the hands of Israelis. Propaganda warfare means a lot. If they don't have if Israelis didn't have the I stand with Israel, they would be worried about the public outcry in America or worldwide for them bombing poor people. But no, they got the backing, so they can go ahead and do that. We're going to be in a much better place when we don't believe everything we see. That's actually what we need. We need disbelief. We need skepticism. What's happening in Israel right now? The government said, it's fake news. Egypt said, we called you up 10 days before. And now I'm hearing multiple people saying, yeah, we called up. We don't know if it's true or not, but different sources saying that they called up Benjamin Netanyahu 3 days before, 10 days before. And Benjamin Netanyahu's answer is fake news. Nah, bro, that's not going to work for me. I don't trust that. I'm not saying one way or the other, just like these pictures. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying that's not good enough answer for me. Just like the 2020 election, I don't have definitive proof of this or that, or like a smoking red gun where I can say this is a fact here. But you haven't sold me, so I think it's rigged. I think it's rigged. It is rigged. That's why they had to censor us. Because you can't go into our heads yet. There's no Neuralink and reprogram us to say, get with the program. And what this lack of trust is going to do, and we're not there yet, but as people get duped, they are going to have the take, believe it or not, people will have the take where I can't trust none of y'all anymore. And my goodness, is that going to be a healthy place to be? That's going to be a great place to be. I'm looking forward to being in that place. Basically, what it's going to be is everyone's going to be considered a conspiracy theorist. Because that's all it is. A lot of the theories that people say are conspiracy theories are just questions. Somebody said, are you accusing Benjamin Netanyahu of knowing about the attack and trying to use it in a way to wipe out the Gaza Strip? Because I kind of retweeted and commented under something. There was a post in March where I don't think it was Benjamin Netanyahu or somebody in Israel was saying we're going to need to wipe out the Strip in March of this year. I haven't made any accusations. All I've said is it is possible, right? We don't know. I'm very comfortable in the gray area saying we don't know. A lot of people need to go to one camp. Oh, that dead baby, that's a real picture. Because I saw that pixel over there. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? How do I know that it's not something else burnt? I can't even tell it's a baby, much less if it's a real picture. I'm gonna sit out on that one. I'm good on that one, and it doesn't change anything about my take anyway. So I got a update. I'm gonna be out here, but this is gonna be live. I got an update. I've been waiting for this for so long. I got an update on my Chat GPT, y'all. Oh man, this is exciting. So let me share my screen. This is great. This is exciting. If you don't know Chat GPT, it's a big deal. People who are using this, in my opinion, are different humans than others. It's that big of a deal. So there's a new feature here that I have to go to. I think I have to go to, wait, well, how do I do it? I thought it was, where is it? Okay, here it is. It is here. It's a picture. Attach images. It's down here. If you're able to watch the video, it's down at the bottom. So what it can do, I have not used it yet. I just found out that I've been waiting for it. I've been kind of mad that I subscribe. Everybody's talking about it. Where's mine? I subscribe to be like a tester for like the new products. Where's mine? So I'm going to do a picture for Chat GPT to analyze. So I'm going to download a picture and I want to try this out. So this is a thumbnail or something like that. I don't know what it is. I'm going to try a thumbnail that just says, looks like it's a thumbnail for a YouTube video or something. All it says is, can ChatGPT analyze data? So I'm going to upload, maybe, you know what, maybe let me upload the stream. So here's let's see what it does with this. This is the thumbnail for this live. My first time ever uploading an image to ChatGPT to see what it can do. This is the first image I choose. Let's see what it can pick out from that. So there's the image. This is AI analyzing. Oh, wow. It's on some bitch ass I can't help with Maga type stuff, probably. Great. Let's look at, let's search like for math equation. Okay, so I'm going to do this picture here, which is a math equation. It's order of operations. Let's see if I can get this. This is from the New York Times. I think the answer should be, I think the answer should be 1 to this problem. And when I upload it, you'll see the picture. Let's take a look. See if I'm right. Let's see if we can do the math based on a picture. So basically, we're looking at the Terminator. It can analyze. So you see the confirmation. 4, yep. Oh, did I get it wrong? I got it wrong. So you do you do it left to right. I forgot. Okay. So it's the 2 plus 2 is 4. Then you go left to, wait, I thought you did 4 times 2 first though. Okay. So it's left to right. So then 8 divided by 2 is 4. Then 4 times 4 is 16. So it did it. Look at that. We are in the next level right now. You can upload a picture to ChatGPT and it can analyze it. And the power of this is amazing. So what you could do is you could be at work, for example. You could take a picture of your notes on your dry erase board, and if it's legible enough, ChatGPT can analyze it. Incredible stuff. So I'm just learning right now what the possibilities could be for this. I'm going to ask it, can you tell if a photo is AI or real? Let's see what it says. Determining if a photo is generated by artificial intelligence or real can be challenging, especially as AI-generated imagery becomes sophisticated. While I can analyze the content, it's not always possible. So maybe it could tell on some obvious ones, but not all of them. So there's your answer from the source. ChatGPT says, I don't know if I can help you with that. Man. Whew. So I'm going to be out. Let's see here. Let me put in the chat if you want to keep the conversation going. In the Discord. I had the Discord link in there. I just didn't pin it. We're pushing the Discord right now because we got a great conversation going there. Really like that. Thank you to everybody who's been on the Discord, posting a lot. Taco, I'm hoping you're feeling better. We even talk about some non-politics stuff, some great music stuff on there. We got some metalheads. I'm not a metalhead, but I'm a metal fan, so I love that. I'm a fan of all music. Like, I honestly mean that. Country, everything. I'm trying to think what genre I don't like. I don't know if there's a genre I don't like. I don't know if that exists. There's songs I don't like. But let's see if I can get some music on the outro tip, see what the vibe is on the way out. Oh, this is my... I'm trying to think. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to do the MLK tapes. So we got a little different topic for tomorrow. Unless there's something really crazy breaking. And there could be. I mean, you never know. We're at war pretty much in the Middle East. I mean, luckily, America's not involved at this point, but we're close to war, which we do not want. Okay, we'll play it out like this. Straight from the phone. It's been fun. Thanks a lot for checking out. This is Osiris Middle Maga. You can go to the website. I pop up articles on the website, and you can sub up to the email alerts, because if YouTube just nukes me right now, it's pretty loud for just the phone. If YouTube nukes me right now, Discord, you can holler at me at the Discord. Email would be good as well, too. Peace.